Hello, my name is Leah Sanchez, and I'm going to talk about the case that I've been studying for my course of doing business in America. So, the business case is happening in Mexico, a developing country in North America, and the places mentioned in this case are Mexico, Australia, and the UK. So, talking about Mexico is one of the countries where it is easier to do business in Latin America. However, there are high rates of crime that are a problem for the business environment in this country. The big market of consumers in the country and its proximity to the US are good opportunities for investors, and the competitiveness of the market and the business in this country are increasing over the years. But one of the main problems in Mexico is the corruption and the levels of insecurity that are affecting the country. Now, passing to Australia. Australia is an economy that is stable and very strong. It is developed, um, democratic country, a very competitive, and also encourage foreign investment. Its economy is based on um, its economy is based on political and economic ties with Europe, the UK, North and South America, and Africa. It has a high and diverse workforce. So that's for Australia, and now talking about the UK, it's one of the largest economies in Europe and also one of the best to make business. The regulations in the country are very strong, and the protection of investors are good characteristics to do business in this country. The UK have a good transport and infrastructure and is attractive for investment. They have implemented different reforms to improve the facility of doing business in their country, and such as increasing limit of weekly wages to employees, and severe pay and minimum wage. Electronic film and property transfer, reducing the tax rate companies, and provide items in the preparation of memoranda. So that's for the UK. Now, what happened in the case? The case happened in June of 2007. In that year, it became easier to do business around the world, according this to by the World Bank and the international finance corporations. The economies were created to reduce time, cost, hassles, and for companies that had with legal and administrative requirements for the first time in Africa reached the top three among reforming regions that year. So in that year, the case was about CEMEX wanted to globalize, and the company became one of the largest suppliers of building material in the world. Um, in 2007, this case is discussed the way in which CEMEX could globalize and do strategies that followed to make it, and how they managed to succeed in these countries like Australia and the UK. The variables that affected the situation were debts that were acquired by purchases of companies in other countries to carry out the expansion of the company. They brought a Australian company that is named Rinker Materials Corporation. The problems of this were that the Rinker clients were real estate market in the US, and that part of the debt is used to finance the operation to be refined soon. The problems were worst when the US dollar increased its value, and also the weakening of three main markets, the US, Spain, and Mexico. The company had difficulty to generate enough cash to reduce the debt. Then the company tried to reduce the debt by selling assets. The Spanish division of CEMEX agreed to sell its operation in the Canary Islands, but the assets of the company sold in Hungary and Austria were less than and this was less than the analyst expected to. So in all this case, we haven't talked about what is CEMEX. So CEMEX is a producer, distributor, and a marketer of cement, and also a ready-mix concrete. This enterprise operates 24/7 and serves customers on 4 continents. These are America, Asia, Europe, and Africa, in more than 60 countries, and have relationships with more than 60 nations within an economic sector of global changes. In 2006, CEMEX celebrated its 100th anniversary of its founding, and it's one of the big national monopolies in Mexico. The free trade agreements that benefit CEMEX, its transformation from domestic producer to national group began with the signing of the GATT in 1985, the NAFTA, the free trade agreement with Europe and other countries like South America. The cluster about CEMEX owns a half-installed cement plants in Mexico, which is a lot. It generates the 63% of the national production of cement, which is more than half of it. It also has one of the biggest clusters of cement in the whole world, located in Baja California Norte in Mexico. One of the most important features of this cluster is that it's the largest plant dedicated to the production of Portland cement, which is intended mainly to cover for rain demand, while another part of the production is intended as input for other cement enterprises as the same cluster. The innovation of this enterprise is important for the culture of their own. They're innovating constantly, finding better solutions for their customers, so they're always reinventing their processes and to streamline operations and to reduce the environment impact. The CEMEX values are security, guarantee, customer focus, search of excellence, working as an enterprise, and acting with integrity, which are their main force to work. So this is my final project for doing business in America. Hope you like it, and thank you.